can't believe that tape echo has been around since 1945 and is still the go-to delay sound for legions of guitar players. There was a time when this was one of the only options for a delay sound for a guitar player or anyone else that could plug into this. And if you know anything about these units, you know that there's a lot that can go wrong with them. They're obviously quite large and cumbersome, and it's really motivated the industry to make small digital compact versions of this sound, but in a box this size. When this Echoplex was popular, guitar players were really just seeking some great slapback sounds, delay times that were maybe under 300 milliseconds. They weren't asking a whole lot of the delay box, but they were getting a great sound nonetheless from these things. And if that's the kind of delay you're shooting for, a small digital box like this that really creates a tape sound well could be all you need. I'm going to talk a little bit about tape delay and how it's still a preferred delay sound for many, many guitarists out there. And we'll even do an A/B comparison between this original Echoplex EP-3 and the Orion tape echo machine from Universal Audio. I mean, you could tell just by looking at this thing that it's a mechanical device that's going to need some maintenance. You're going to need to have some extra cartridges on hand, and in a small digital pedal, you're not going to need to worry about any of that. That's one of the huge bonuses right off the bat. I mean, this thing's pretty noisy when you turn it on. This is pretty bulletproof every time. And there's a lot of little hidden functions in this that I want to talk about that really give you the Echoplex experience, maybe even more than the unit itself. So I borrowed an original EP-3 from a friend of mine, and this is the Orion tape echo pedal. And immediately it's just funny to see how much they can cram in this little digital box to get me the sound of this big old tape delay machine. Both are very cool, but just looking at them, it's like, wow, like how far have we come for sure. Now, we're going to demo both of those back to back, and we can do that with our signal chain that we have set up. Now, I'm just coming out of this Fender Custom Shop Strat into what's called the JHS Switchback looper. That allows me to put two things in the loop and switch back and forth. So we have the same signal going to both, and I just turn one on or the other. The green side is the Orion, and the red side will be the original EP-3. My amp for this is the UA Dream pedal. This is one of their amp-in-a-box pedals, and I think these are some of the best out there for modelers in a box. Really, really great. Yeah, it's gonna work great for us. A little bit of reverb, pretty much sounds like an old Fender Deluxe, that's for sure. Now, we got to turn on, first of all, we'll go to the red side because that's the EP-3. We got to turn this bad boy on. And you should be able to already hear it working. You see that light comes on, and it's very, very simple. The guitar just goes into one, the output of it goes to from the other, and you put it in line like a pedal. And you actually can even turn it off on and off with a pedal too. But first of all, you're going to have to listen to that all the time. It's that tape spinning around. But let's have a listen. You're hearing we're getting a nice slap echo already. This knob here is going to give us basically our repeats and how many of them. So what we're just hearing right now, if I pull it way back, is just one repeat. Very synonymous with a slap echo type of sound. This volume is going to be the volume of our delays. And when you turn it all the way up, you're just hearing delay and not your dry signal. So we've been doing that for a long, long time. And you got to give it up to the folks who really designed this stuff early on, because they were onto something for sure. Now the magic really for me is in the slider here, which is going to be our delay time. So the shorter we go, the shorter the delay time. The longer we go, the longer the delay time. Basically what's happening is your signal's coming in, being recorded, and then it's that slider is determining how long it takes for that sound to be replicated. If we took it all the way up, listen to how long that delay is. That's a lot for 1970. And you could even get some more repeats. These are sounds that were not super common, like they are today, and it's because of these units. But if we go back to the beginning, I always like to think, can we get a really good slap echo? Because a slap echo sound is one I can leave on all the time. I do it with my delay pedals constantly. Always have a slap echo on. It makes the guitar sound bigger, like you're in a short room. Just feels really good. So we got to bring our delay time all the way down. And it even tells you, check this out. They put basically a quick start menu in the lid, because this goes on top of the box and you carry it to the gig. It talks about what the knobs do, what the sliders do. It's really, really fun to kind of take a trip back in time for that stuff. So there's our slap echo. I like it somewhere around here. That might even be a little too long, so we'll bring it just under 5. And that sounds like short reflections in a room, but check this out. If I took that off, still good, but not as much personality. And I can tell you, in a band situation, that makes the guitar sound just a little bit bigger and fill up a little more space without being obtrusive. So that's my favorite sort of starting point for any kind of tape delay. It feels good too. There's something about it. It's a little visceral. It doesn't mess with your playing. It really melds into what you do. But what we want to do is turn on the Orion and see if we can get close. Let's bring the mix up a little bit, because now we're in the green side of the switchback. And it's really there. Really close. I mean, it's going to be tricky to get them exact with regard to their output, but we got it pretty close. And the thing I love about what this is replicating and what this is doing is it's, even though this is the EP3, the solid state version, the transistor version, if you will, it's still got personality and warmth, and it's not maybe as sterile as a digital delay. Now, digital delays have their place, and they certainly gained a lot of popularity in the 80s and so on. But this feels like it's a part of your guitar tone, and by switching back and forth, this was the Pepsi challenge, as we used to say, to see if the digital pedal could sound as good as the analog. So once again, analog, digital. And turn that mix up a little bit. Yeah. It's like I said about slap echo, it just makes your guitar sound bigger and fatter. And for players like Scotty Moore back in the day, who was playing with Elvis doing, you can hear, if I took that off, I'm just going to turn that way and then turn it off. Not the same, so we'll bring in some of the Orion. And it's right there. What I might do for that kind of sound is turn my mix control up even more. We're going to go over all the features and why the Orion is special as well, so hang in there. Now, let's see if we can get that with the Echoplex. I'm sure we will. What we'll have to do, turn the volume up a little bit. Maybe a little too much. They're way more sensitive, I've found, too. I'm not missing anything. If anything, I just need more of it. Or if we go feels like your guitar is 3 times the size. Let's hear the Echoplex. Let's see if we can get there. So we can hear that, yes, this is doing what it's supposed to be doing, but the Orion is doing a great job. It sounds to me imperceptible. Now, what you might hear is that the EP3 sounds a little bit brighter to me. We can talk about why that might be happening in a moment. But we want to talk about more features of the Orion and how it can do a number of different things that the Echoplex can't do in its state. A lot of times you'll hear people say buzzwords like that delay is real musical, and I'm not sure what that means, but I have an idea what they're talking about. And what I think is when you start to kind of add more repeats and longer delay times, does it play nicely with what you're playing? So what I did with the Orion was I ramped up the delay time to make it longer and added more repeats. Now, feedback on a delay pedal means number of repeats. The lower the knob setting, the less amount of repeats. So you'll get maybe one, and then you'll get many, many more as you go. As you turn the knob up, there's more regenerative repeats happening. So let's hear that. There's a bunch of them there, but listen to how they die and they trail off. Let's see if the Echoplex will do that. Almost identical. What I did was I had to turn up the echo knob, and then the volume knob, I didn't want it to get out of hand, so I had to turn that down even more. But you can do passages. And you might say, well, that doesn't do a whole lot, but if I take it off, maybe they mean it's musical because I'm more inspired by it and I play more musically. I listen to the repeat, I play off of it. Very subtle. Same thing will happen with the Echoplex. Dynamic with my playing and warm, not obtrusive. That's the beauty of one of these old guys, for sure. And the Orion, I can't hear anything different or feel. It just feels the exact same. But we can get crazier, we can do a lot of stuff, and we clearly can hear that this thing is working. Literally, we can hear the wheels spinning. But the Orion does a lot more. So I want to focus on some things that are synonymous with tape echo, like age, the tape warble, the wow and flutter, where pitch actually starts to change in the trails. These are things that were kind of unpredictable, but Echoplexes did them. And what they're able to do now in the digital realm is predict them more so that you can change them at will. So let's check out even more features of the Orion and talk about why this might be the only tape echo pedal you ever need. So clearly the EP-3 is a fun old beast and it gets a great sound. I can't complain. But the Orion is clearly stepping up to the game and giving us everything this does and actually more. And I'll tell you about that in a minute, because Universal Audio says we like to model warts and all. And what they mean by that is this box has quirks. All gear has quirks. And some people like those quirks, so they put them in there as well. They don't, get rid of anything in the modeling process to make the experience more user-friendly or something. They give it all to you and then some. We'll talk about it. But the feature set real quickly on the top of this pedal: delay time and mix, length of delay time, volume of the delayed signal against your dry signal. You can mix that to taste. Feedback is your number of repeats. We talked about that. Record level is really important. And EP-3 has a record level, and you can adjust that to taste as well. And basically, the stronger the signal you send into it, the more pronounced, the more colorful your delays will be. If it's down there around 10 o'clock, you might not hear it at all. Let's turn this mix up. But if I hit the record level harder, the delay is going to have more color, more personality. Yeah, it got hotter because I'm feeding more signal, so I bring my mix back. But I like the sound of that fullness from the delay. And I can continue to play around, but I take it off entirely. You miss it when it's gone. It's a lot of fun. So that's a lot of level with a low mix, giving me a nice fat delay sound. So that's what you would use the record level for, and I like to keep it somewhere in the middle, just for our purposes here today. Now, I want to talk about what they call the Wonk control and this switch for tape age in the middle. Now, the Wonk control in this tape age switch right here is really important, and it's going to simulate some things that happen with an Echoplex. In the mint control, what we're going to have is basically what goes in comes out really cleanly. So that's like a new Echoplex tape. Now, when you go to the middle here, in the slightly worn, the delays get warmer. They're not as robust and clean. And people really dug that about Echoplexes. And you could take it a step further and go to the old. Check this out. So you're getting a nice bright attack, but then a warm delay. Now, for you folks that don't use delay a lot, you can just pull that mix knob back. And you'll never know it's there. Well, you will, but it's not going to be as obtrusive. But ultimately, the flexibility you have with a pedal like this that's giving you different tape ages very accurately is valuable, because once you start adding overdrive to that, it's going to create this beautiful sort of swelling sound underneath you that, like I said, when you turn it off, it's a little lifeless. And the tape age switch is, I think it's really valuable for this kind of product. Now, the Wonk, what does the Wonk do? Well, it's a fun name for what's called wow and flutter, which ultimately means that your delays are going to do a number of things. They're going to, in this instance, maybe go out of tune. That happens with tape delays. And a lot of times what would happen with old tapes is you'd hear a splice point where the delay would drop out and then come back in. You have to get pretty wacky with this pedal to do that, but let's see if we can get it to go. We're going to turn the Wonk all the way up, tape age to old. We'll get a lot more mix. This is going to be just an experiment. And you can already hear it. I'll turn the record level up. Get some more feedback. It takes off, it goes, it starts to go out of tune. So why would you use that, or where would you use that? You might not, but maybe somebody's doing something like that and it's creating this chorus effect underneath. And if you listen, you'll hear it go, That's the tape splice happening. Wild stuff. Hear it? That's so fun. It's literally cutting my guitar sound out at certain points because it's not being replicated properly. I mean, that's the lengths that Universal Audio will go to really try to get it accurate, because somebody might say, I want to see if this thing will do it. And it can't. So if you're a user of light delay, you want just a single repeat, 300 milliseconds, slap echo, that sort of thing, you know, this is going to get you in that arena and do it really accurately. The whole purpose of this video was to see, can these units stand up to a real Echoplex? I've never owned one. This is the first time I've ever had one in my studio, and the whole thing just worked like a charm. I was really, really happy to see that, wow, this new technology really does do it. And I'm not surprised, because Universal Audio, they go buy bunches of these things and they test them and they model them and they really take it seriously. So, you know, kudos to UA for making a product that really stands up to what they're selling. One of the things that guitar players really came to love about an EP3 style unit was the preamp built in, because when this box was just in line with your sound, it fattened up your guitar tone from top to bottom. whether you were using a little delay or a lot of delay, they enjoyed having that preamp engaged to, again, fatten up their tone. And it's valuable for us too if we have a pedal board full of pedals. I mean, there's companies out there that have even made preamps in a box that simulate the EP-3 style unit and doesn't even have delay function. It's just the preamp, right? So the Orion has that built in with a really cool function I want to show you. So if we just hear it as it is, I'm going to take this switch, you hear it kind of engage and that light turns red, just fattens up the tone, and then down, back to being the natural thinner sound, and then a little fatter. Now if I turn that pedal off, look at that, it stays engaged because I have this switch called trails on the back engaged as well. So what happens is, even if this pedal's off, it's gonna give me all of the preamp sound that I want from the original unit. Kick it in. Now I have the delay, but the preamp hasn't changed. If we want that to change, we turn it to the true bypass mode so the pedal's out of the chain altogether. Really important function, and like I said, people buy those preamp pedals and leave them on their board. So you can do that and have a delay in one box. I mean, who'd have thought, right? So great function, glad UA included that, and they included it to be kind of foot switchable as well. Very, very cool. So pretty fun, right? I've never gotten to play a real Echoplex in the studio, so just getting to do that alone was pretty exciting for me, but then to A/B it with the Orion and hear it really basically stay with it every step of the way was impressive as well. And I like simple pedals that you step on and turn a knob. That's what this is all about, but it has all the sounds from this and then some in this fairly inexpensive digital pedal. So if you're thinking about it for your first delay pedal, it's a solid option, or if you want to add it to some other ones that you already have, give it a shot, because I don't think you'll be disappointed if you're looking for this kind of sound. And let me know in the comments what you guys thought about this demo comparison. What's your thoughts on delay pedals overall? What do you have? What do you like? You know, people read those comments and they can really help someone make a decision on what pedal they want to add to their rig. And if you want to learn more about the Orion Tape Echo pedal from Universal Audio, I'll drop a link in the comments and in the description. Go check it out. Nice little pedal for not a lot of money. All right, I'm going to sign off. I'll see you guys on the next one.